episode is sponsored by Raise Tech, end-to-end IT solutions for your business growth.
All right, so this is just a forum where we want to have a discussion, sort of a panel discussion, not necessarily sort of a real panel where we have some star, people, but everyone is equal here. So everyone can share come join, come on. Anyone can share anything on the topic that someone might said is kind of an old, been discussed probably in the various places, but still interesting to hear, the perspective and the opinions. And it comes from the notion that, the question is Agile dead? Did it sort of became something that it's packaged, manufactured, delivered to the companies, but the whole idea and spirit behind it, what initially was when it was initially created, is sort of gone now. It became a consultancy business more than like an actual thing to strive for. So this is the discussion. Everyone is open to share. Today we're not having debates like for or against. It's just an opinions that you might want to have. I can, as you're on the sofa, you get the you can just clip it in, or we can just share them also whenever we are. If anyone else wants to add anything up. So yes, anyone wants to go first and break the ice on the topic? What do you think when you read Agile is Dead? Is it? Is it not?
So basically, the idea is pretty simple. It's not the first time when during the conference we are hearing the topic is Agile Dead. That's what bothers me actually. It's that definition of Agile. Yeah. So everyone here in this room basically defines Agile differently. I'm sure about that. Some of you are thinking that it's a mindset. Some of you are thinking that it's a communication protocol, maybe it's set of practices and tools that are used in order to solve complex problems and blah, blah, blah. So in order to answer this question, I guess we should start with defining actually what Agile and what we mean by that in this room, okay? So someone wants to continue?
First an observation of myself. I tend to visit a lot of conferences and events. And recently I had a feeling it was one particular conference, it was XP conference in Amsterdam. It felt like I was attending a funeral. And I thought, this is not the happy, excited, community that I remember from pre-COVID. Something is going on. I just felt it in the corridors. And that was not the only time. So that's just an observation, but I totally agree with your statement. It depends on how you define Agile. It depends on how you define dead. If the definition is Agile as in the Agile community and dead as in not thriving anymore, then I'm leaning towards yes, there is something dying at the very least. But is that a bad thing? No, I don't think so, because the Agile Manifesto does not care about the word Agile itself. It cares about certain values and principles. And I think the need for dealing with people instead of processes and the need for responding to change has never been greater than now. I mean, just look at the impact that artificial intelligence is having on companies. They're scrambling to keep up with the change. That is what agility is all about. So maybe the Agile brand and community will have to just leave a brand behind themselves and renew themselves, but what the manifesto originally stood for, it is alive as ever. Maybe just put a new label on it.
But alive as of a need of that, what we see in the Agile Manifesto is alive, or it actually manifests into practice, into that is actually what's being lived by companies and.
Yeah, and for example, the fact that we are now talking about teaming as an insight that we have after 15 years of saying, "Thou shalt keep thy team stable," in a rather dogmatic way, and I may have contributed to that in the past as well. Well, we have new insights that reteaming can actually be good. It is actually maybe not agile to keep your team static for a long time. And the need for this, as I said, is greater because of environmental change. So that puts a pressure on companies to do reteaming. This would be a perfect topic for that includes that should be included in the agile community as it is now. So no, agile as values and principles, not that at all. Community maybe needs to reinvent itself.
Probably can add. If you look at history of Agile and how it started, then it started from the position that highly skilled professionals, experienced professionals, can do probably better than by doing things with prototyping and as it could be with traditional engineering processes like waterfall. And the key is that Agile is about discipline, Agile is about highly skilled professionals, motivation, and vision. And it's about good engineering practices. And sometimes there is confusion about what really is Agile. And we omit some design phase or some engineering good engineering practices, and then there is no result. So we have to go back to manifesto and see what were reasons behind every sentence in that manifesto is developed, and then there is an answer.
Okay, actually, if you don't mind, I just wanted to add that we shouldn't forget that Agile Manifesto was created, as you all know, 20 years ago. Basically, when it was created, as you said, there were a set of problems that people are, let's call specialists, were dealing with. Right now, 20 years past, we have, I would say, new problems, new challenges. And in that case, the question comes, so maybe indeed we have to come back and to ask what is still there or not. Maybe it's going to be inside for you, or if you're leading the trainings, you most likely know about that. But I usually give an exercise for guys that attend the training that please take the principles and answer how do you think, are they still actual, or they, from your perspective, should be changed a bit. And I would say if we speak about the 12 principles we have, majority of them should be at least changed in order to fit or reinvented. At least the people who are attending the training program, they are spotting doesn't fit to what happens right now. So that's a question. You know as well that there was a so-called Agile 2 invented, let's call it like that, maybe observed this, even more principles, yeah, even more values available. But is it the right path? I don't know.
Yeah, you mentioned Agile too. Just briefly to say, I've joined one of their first sessions where they tried to involve the community and to share perspective of what it is. And the way it was shared, I don't know, it was somehow showed that all the things formed with the Agile Manifesto is wrong, and it doesn't cover all the needs that we have. And what I was then hearing others were saying right now, thinking that perhaps the broader community sometimes do not have the good understanding what agility is. As I'm working as a consultant, as an example, I'm joining the company and leaders are saying, we want to be agile, we need the change. And then I'm asking, so why do you need that change? What is it you want to be different? How different that should be? They try to just spit out some of the keywords. We need faster delivery, we need something like that, and then how do you measure what's your current delivery? How you'll see the difference? And usually there is none of that. And in my perspective, the topic that Agile is dead by itself, maybe community, the one that is trying to lean more into, is missing some part of the information, some part of the details, and then agility becomes more as a something everyone wants, but no one knows what it is. That's my take on this.
I'd like to say that Agile will never die. Agile will never die. History never dies, from my opinion. But if we as a community will stop and not go with the changes, we will be who will be it killing. So what we are talking about quality, competence of the community. It's not enough to get one certificate or to go to one conference and say that, oh, I'm agilist. And maybe we need to go to ourselves and answer us. Are we agile? How we to understand it and how we talk to each other. So I think we need to start from us and then to the management and to other people. But Agile will never die.
I certainly had an epiphany. Thank you for that. Is Barbie dead? Well, Barbie was nearly dead because Barbie was an icon of earlier times that did not fit in the new world that we have in this century, post-COVID, and so on. They realized that at Mattel. We got to do something or she will be permanently dead. So they did something that is incredibly brave. They hired some people who were very anti-Barbie and asked them to bring Barbie up to the current times. And I think that has been a spectacular success. You can do something with any brand. Just realize that what it stood for was the right thing at the time. It is not the right thing right now. So either we say goodbye and we do something different, or we roll up our sleeves and say, okay, let's bring it up to date. And the best is sometimes hiring people who were very much against what it was in the past, because they have probably some very valid criticism.
Totally agree. I would like to add, we are treating this topic, talking about agile or talking about agility. And I think I like the idea to reframe the discussion and to talk about not about the noun agile, but about the adjective agility. I think if we will discuss agility as an adjective, I think it just can't die. It's impossible. So it's particular ways how we need to work, how we like to work. And I think 2014, it was the first article to this topic, is Agile Dead? Long live Agile, and was a proposal to treat Agile as agility, as the way how we treat things. And I like more this idea to focus on this and not on the definition of the noun Agile.
Recently, I listened to a podcast about the history of management. And I had this epiphany that all the history of management that I listened in that hour, it was exactly the history of Agile that I'm preaching at my trainings. And I wonder what is wrong. So I think a rebranding of the name, speaking about Agile. Agile is not only that list of values and principles, it's more than that. And there are many things that are have a good branding on the market. And if you are looking at, I don't know if you are familiar with Shape Up from Basecamp, they are saying that they are not doing Agile, but basically it's Agile because they have a fixed time and variable scope. And they actually are in those values and principles, but they are not preaching that they are doing value Agile. And it's the same with other programs management from Shopify. I think they publish something. So I think a rebranding should be nice in this industry, because when we are saying Agile, a lot of people are thinking about Scrum, are thinking about, let's not say Jira and other tools that, okay, are doing daily meetings, but Agile is more than that. It's a mindset, it's a management style. And thanks for writing for, I think you are the only person who wrote about management and not about Agile. So, yeah.
Yeah, good point. I just read a book which I thought was super inspiring, how big things get done about the largest projects in the world. Think nuclear power stations, train tunnels under the canal, and so on. That's stuff that we know absolutely nothing about. How such projects should get done, actually, should have been the title, because there are lots of great stories about total disasters, of course. And when you read it from start to finish, you think, that guy is talking about agility here. It's about modeling the tunnels incrementally, and so on and so on. The word agile did not occur once in the entire book, because that doesn't matter. But the principles were the same, only then applied to traditional old project managers that know nothing about IT as we do, but they know a lot about putting the largest skyscrapers in the world, or Olympic stadiums. that's their field of knowledge and expertise, and they have good and bad ways of doing that. And good ways are suspiciously similar to what we are advocating in this community. So yeah, that kind of agile is not that. They're just not calling it agile.
Yesterday, in one of the discussions, I raised the question. I will reiterate this maybe once again. Maybe everything that we're doing as a community, vouching for agile, maybe someone works as a coach, as a consultant, scrum master, whatever. Maybe we're just thinking that we're actually promoting agile, but maybe it's actually, if it wouldn't happen, right, the word wouldn't be promoted, the ideas wouldn't spread that much, as the examples you just said, maybe it will still happen, because it's just natural, and it comes to the good practitioners, good experts in various fields, and they will figure out how to do it. Maybe it's just us that think that we need to promote that, but actually it will just organically happen one way or another. So that's a question. I don't know, but that's a thought I had yesterday that I'm just voicing out again.
I remember the joke when person comes to a shop and says, I want that thing. He says, waffles? No, cookies in quadrants. So let's agree that it's nothing what we need to deliver. And can we agree in our community that we all understand and help our friends and community to tell what is agile, and be sure that you are using right thing when you are talking to another? Can we agree?
Can we?
I wanted to ask question, if agile is dead, then what will come and substitute? Of course, there are projects, every project can require its own approach. And there is scope, size, risks, and etc. But and not for all projects agile can fit, and there is still place for waterfall and other good engineering practices. But if agile is dead, what will substitute? What will substitute this? Can we take Agile Manifesto and rephrase it in opposite? Really, documentation first and product. If it happens, then it's good. Or just think what will be the substitute for Agile.
We again talking about Agile and waterfall framework, and with whom? With mindset, principles, values. We're comparing different things.
Waterfall.
Even when I saw reports measuring Agile versus waterfall. Who are measuring? What we are measuring? And after that, there are talks. When I came to my company and I said, okay, Agile, I'm trying to explain what is it. And they, okay, no, waterfall. No, Agile is not about frame one method, one framework. And okay, but it's good because it's mentioned Agile. Everyone knows it's Agile. And everyone understands that they are comparing different things. That's why, as community, as we are, I think we are professionals of our areas. We should explain, but not saying, no okay, maybe usually they are, yeah, they are thinking about Scrum and waterfall, but let's call it Agile. Yeah, I'm so feeling, and I'm frustrating when I see in well-known published some article, and they are comparing uncomparable things. So, what we do about that?
May I add something? As we know, we are discussing now the definition of agile by accident, because as you know, while experts were writing the manifesto, they were struggling how to name it, and agile was like, well, let's say by accident. Could be also the different definitions, could be adaptive framework or something like that. So I don't know. Can you imagine we would say, is adaptive dead? Me not. That's why I think we have to stop talking and discussing the definition. We have to talk about what's behind this. What are actually the things we have to do doing it. That's why I don't know how you treat this topic, but in the case I have discussions with people who are starting to talk about frameworks and tools and so on, I just prefer to use the word adaptive. It's a more classical way, and and that's just what Jürgen said. There are a lot of other industries where people are agile without using the word agile at all.
Now we're talking definition, right? Or just agile as a noun, as you were saying. But what about how is it, brought? How is it again manifested into various companies, businesses? And been talking with Dave Snowden in the XP conference, by the way, the same one, a couple of months ago, and I believe he did a talk years ago about like similar topic. He's very sort of let's just say frank about all of big consultancy companies, and sort of blaming them for where the wrong direction that this whole sort of agile, I don't know, understanding in the world is being brought, because it was at some point it was packaged and started to be delivered. You get 1 kilo of agile here, 1 liter there. How much do you need? I will give you, right? So that sort of skewed the whole understanding, and it made those definitions that you're saying. So people started to interpret it in maybe the wrong way. So whatever word we use, adaptive, agile, doesn't matter, but how to make sure that actually the principles stay alive. And are they alive? Are they alive naturally, just without I don't know, doing something for them, or is it more of that we need to some active steps about it? That's probably active question. Or a rebranding is needed, as simple as that. Well, a simple word, maybe it's not right here, but generally, right? So
May I add something? I just read a book about Lean, and as you know, Lean was actually born like it was something different than actually Toyota did. Yes, so it was like Toyota production system. It was a different model which was used in Japan till the end of 90s, but there was the word lean there, and everyone used this word lean, and it was, as you know, as a buzzword. Same story like in the agile, if I may say. So you're talking about principles. I mean, of course, they are principles. And if you're talking about principles like this manifesto, I think we are moving forward, we are developing, we are changing, and we have to treat these principles also as something organic. You know, it was written by software developers. Today, in a complex world, we see we have to be adaptive. We have to yeah, no, I purpose. Yes, we don't have to use the word agile at all, actually. Yes, just to name it. And I think it's important to see that the principles are core principles are moving as well and changing. For example, there's already modern agile. I don't know if you heard about it. It was the idea to take these 12 principles, the manifesto, and make it simpler, but to keep the most important parts of it. So it's more adaptive also to other industries and not only to software development.
To be honest, I actually rarely use the word agile anymore, except when referring to the agile community that I care about still. Lots of friends there across Europe and beyond. So for me, that is agile, my home, where I feel belonging. But in a larger sense, I get most of my inspiration from other sources that are not the agile community, from jobs to be done, from neuroscience, from traditional project management, lots of stuff that we know very little about the agile community, and where other people have similar insights, but in completely different ways. Just reading how emotions are made in the human brain was so inspiring. And I learned something from that, and that tied into the way we think about agile in a strange way, in terms of us modeling the world outside, including us making models of our own emotion and putting labels on things as we do continuously. We use the word agile to label very vague concepts. That's a human need to label everything all the time. So personally, I don't do what agile anymore. I wish it could be well. I keep it being involved, but I seek my inspiration elsewhere. There's so much. As long as agile is being associated with stand-ups and stickies, we're not going to be involved.
Yes, let's conclude with this note. So we all agree it's the principles are there. They are important. They're still needed a lot. We can talk about rebranding using the word, but we also need to look much more wider and be the ambassadors of this wider outlook. Thank you everyone for joining. Thank you for having a discussion.